Dear Gwetch everyone, Kajima Tarshiv, and welcome back to episode number 142 of the Inline G Flute podcast with me, your host, motherfucking Inline a G. Now listen, if you listened to last week's episode, you're probably waiting for a certain Canadian violin player to pop up beside me here. Next week's episode is a guest episode with Lara St. John, where she'll be talking about her new film, Dear Lara. Now, Dear Lara is a story about sexual abuse, many stories about sexual abuse in major music colleges and symphony orchestras worldwide. It names names a lot. It's going to shake the classical music world to its fucking core when it comes out. But something this sensitive gets faced with a lot of hurdles, shall we say, to get it out. So Lara sent me a message the other day and said, listen, would you mind putting the episode out a week later just till I get my ducks in a row? And I said, that's grand, Lara. No problems at all. You're rock and roll and I love you. I'd do anything for you. But I want to be very clear on my side of things when it comes to people. How do I word this without getting sued? Actually, that's my point. I don't give a fuck about being sued. This is the thing. I don't give a shit. I don't live or work in the US. I'm here in the developed world. And you can't just sue people here for no fucking reason. So if it were up to me, I'd stick everything out. I'd name every name. I'd hit publish. I'd go to the pub. I'd put my phone on silent. That'd be it. I'd like to see those fancy New York crisis management agencies find me in the fucking pub. Now, last time I interviewed Sammy Sussman, I got this really fucking bizarre email from Liang Wang's crisis management team. Just a courtesy email to inform me that they were going to be suing Sammy for something like fucking $50 million. Some kind of James Bond villain kind of level of money. $50 million. I'm like, man, fuck off. At the time, it scared the shit out of me because I've been watching a lot of Law and Order recently. At that time, I watched a lot of it. So there's all these American numbers and words that you don't hear. You only see them on TV. And then now I'm sort of like, man, it's in America. Who gives a fuck? That's not the real world. Nobody gives a fuck what goes on over there. I don't, certainly. Americans do, but fuck you guys. It's Disneyland over there. So anyway, that episode is going to be coming out next week. Last week's episode, by the way, went pretty fucking viral for this podcast. Now, I have to say, I don't like making podcast episodes here topical. I don't like to talk about things in the news or things happened recently because it loses the re-listenability. I like people to go back and discover this podcast and not have it feel dated. So I don't want to make a habit of those kind of episodes. Also because it sort of veers on that tabloid newsy kind of vibe, which is not what I want to do. I don't want to go out and just slander people for no reason to get views. And also, these episodes, that style of episode is very depressing to make. I like to be happy. I like to be having fun. And then also, after it, I have to answer so many stupid fucking questions. The amount of messages I have got after a couple of those clips went out. Oh my good God. Now, I'm not going to give her much more time because if I speak her name too many times, if I say her name 3 times, she'll pop up behind me in the fucking mirror. And she's licking her lips at the idea of the attention of this. But Hadar Neuberg, obviously I talked about her last week on the podcast. A lot of you have messaged me going, is she really a pro-Israeli government? She hasn't posted anything specifically supporting the Israeli government. So I'm going to clarify this now because I'm sick of fucking typing it out. I hope the AI clipping software picks this up. She's not going to be sitting on fucking Instagram, is she? Putting up a story with a glass of Prosecco and some nibbly bits celebrating the bombing of a children's hospital in fucking Gaza. And so many people thought they got me with this, like, haha, I've never seen her post anything pro-Israel. You're wrong, I got you. And honestly, you're fucking idiots without the ability to form 2 consecutive thoughts. Just one more thought. Because in these circumstances, it's what people don't say that matters. Silence is complicity. And it's the exact same point I tried to make in the podcast about her racism scandal. Not inherently 100% definitively racist what she did in itself, but the lack of accountability, response, or comment is the issue. She's not stupid, and choosing not to do something is much of a choice as doing it. It's the same for being pro-Israel. She's an artist working in the worst fucking country in the world. Huge following, worldwide. She works there and makes no secret of it. She could just say, hey, guys, I'm Israeli. I don't really agree with the current Israeli regime, but, you know, I've got bills to pay, blah, blah, blah. But no. And you do have to. I will hold Americans to the same account. If you're American, if you're not actively against Trump and being vocal about it, you're part of it. You're assumed to be with him. Silence isn't any good anymore. I'm sorry, lads. You're all guilty until proven innocent. Fuck your stupid legal system. which obviously doesn't count because you got a fucking rapist pedo running the country. And anyway, so before you type these messages to me, please, for the love of God, follow your thought a degree or two further. Get off the train one stop later. All right, I had the exact same scenario recently in the pub, obviously. Where else was going to have these realizations? On St. Patrick's Day of all days, where it's getting towards the end of the night, it's 12:30, the conversations are going, they're slowing down a little bit in terms of intellectualism. And we obviously got on to the natural topic that we all do of gun laws. Fucking hell, because Germany actually has some of the most relaxed gun laws in Europe. So we're on to the topic of gun laws. And then also, if the people who I had this conversation with are listening, I'm not going against you guys here, obviously. I'm just using this to make a point of, especially what happens after you have too much Guinness, but in general, following the train, get off one stop later. So anyway, we're talking about gun laws, and someone makes that point of, well, actually, guns don't kill people, people do. Hang on, for fuck's sake. Someone's watching an episode of fucking American Dad. So anyway, someone made the point, they were like, listen, we're in the pub now. If there was a gun sitting on that table, but nobody can touch it, would you be afraid of it? I'm going, but someone would touch it. And they're like, no, but they can't touch it. And I was like, but why can't they touch it? Well, obviously someone could touch it. There's a gun in the pub. I would touch it. I'm about to touch it now and unload it on you. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, but you can't touch it. I was like, why? Like, no, just it's hypothetical. You can't touch it. But what point does that hypothetical reasoning have to serve here? Why is that helping? If there was a gun in the pub, you're making my point even stronger. People could bring guns into the pub. They have a few pints. They'll obviously start blasting people in the face. That's what happens when you have pints and guns together. It's a terrible idea. We worked this out in Ireland the minute guns came out, and we're like, right, lads, probably for the best that we don't mix this with pinting. We'll just take that off the market now. And it was that thing of like, haha, gotcha. There was the gun there, but you weren't allowed to touch it. You wouldn't be scared of it. There'd be no problems. It's the people that do it. And you're like, follow that thought one more degree further and go, well, what if it wasn't hypothetical? Oh, yeah, right enough, they would blast people in the fucking face. You're right. Stop. Don't get your one point, your one coherent thought, and then just go, right, I've got a coherent thought together. Here you fucking go. Deal with that. I'm so smart. I've got one thought. You go, man, get a second one. Get a third. Just follow that train. Take a wee minute to yourself. Go to the toilet, have a shite, and sit there, put the phone away, and just think for a wee minute. Just think. And honestly, thinking these days feels like more of a fucking commodity than it's ever been. Not least in part due to AI. Or you'll often hear it referred to on this podcast as fucking AI. Now, I want to make the point that when it comes to art, first of all, AI is going to do fuck all to us, okay? Some people are so fucking dramatic. It's like, we're all going to lose our jobs. There'll be no more art. The computers are taking over. It won't do a fucking thing, okay? It won't take our jobs. It will take some jobs. It won't take our jobs. It won't affect us. Because first of all, AI isn't intelligent. It's not sentient. It's not real intelligence. It can't think. It just puts together data and patterns really fucking quick. It's super fast Google. That's all it is. Now, there is a thing called AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. And it's a stated goal of both ChatGPT and OpenAI to achieve this. Estimated in the next 10 years, they'll be getting it. Now, that is scary. And there's a lot of lobbying, especially in the States, to bring in legislature to ban that already. Because that is fucking scary. Because that's the point where AI would outperform human cognitive function across all levels. So it can generalize knowledge, it can transfer skills, problem solve, laterally think, all without specific programming. That's when we're fucked. That's Skynet. That's the Terminator coming to blast you. That's me running around in Palestine shooting a few years, fucking shooting rifles at robots. But normal AI is grand. It's really grand. The main issue with AI is it reduces thinking. It takes away the need to think. Now, for things like, because there is positives to AI, for things like coding, fucking class. The medical advancements we're going to see over the next few years because of AI are going to be astronomical because they're going to take out all that donkey work that takes so much fucking time. Also, when it comes to science, we're going to see so many things fly. All my friends who are scientists love AI that's doing so much work for them because that's the kind of thinking that you don't need to do. That's donkey work, and that's all AI really does. But for artists, it's a little bit different for us. Now, this is where the problem does come in because although AI takes away the thinking and the donkey work, for an artist, that's a really important part of the process. So AI is not going to take our jobs away. Definitely not. AI art is shite. But it is going to take this away. Because you've all seen AI art. You've all consumed it. You've seen fucking pictures, or you've seen videos, or you've seen music, AI music and all that shit. No, it's impressive. Of course it is. A click of a button, 3 minutes later, you've got this thing in front of you. But there's always something like off about it. There's always something weird about it. It feels hollow. It feels empty. You don't engage with it the same way you do other art. You consume it for a few seconds and then you fuck off. If you scroll past, like, how many AI songs do you like 50 Cent in the pub in an Irish folk style? You look at it, you go, ha ha ha, and you scroll on. If someone was doing that live, like if someone had arranged it, brought in the instruments, wrote the song and did it, you would go, that's fucking class, send it to all your mates. You know, like that you consume for 3 to 4 seconds max, and you go, it amazes you for a few seconds. And AI is very good at amazing us, but it doesn't speak to you. Because art at its core is a way to express or empathize with other human beings on a level that is deeper than words. Especially when you're young. When you think when you're like a teenager and your brain's still developing, or your early 20s, you can consume a piece of art. Like you can listen to a song or an album or a movie, and it will totally overtake you. Like totally change your mood and your thinking and the way you view the world. We've all had that. And even if we hear that art now as we're older, if you are older, if you hear that art now, it will still trigger it. There's still certain songs, man, from when you were 16 that the minute you hear it, you have a flood of emotions around it. We all have that. Or even songs from funerals or things that remind us of different people or nostalgia. It's all there for us. And that is because that's the artist speaking to you, resonating with you, resonating with your soul, man. And that lovely alignment that comes up when they're trying to express something that aligns perfectly with you, that's called transcendence. Now, the goal as an artist is to experience that with your own art, to transcend with your own art. When we achieve that, it means we found what artists would refer to often as their artistic or their creative voice. Now, it just means, because I know people are going to think I'm wanky for saying that, but it just means it's our way of expressing art that truly aligns and speaks with our inner selves. That's it. And every human has an artistic voice and a creative voice, and every human is unique. So AI cannot, by definition, replicate it because it is unique. Now, the thing is, most humans, never mind artists, most humans never get to really find their artistic voice or to express that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of trial and error. It's often years before you even get close to finding your voice. Nobody is having a transcendental? Give that another go, will it? Nobody is having a transcendental experience with AI art. It's hollow, man. You don't look at it and it speaks to your soul. You're not going to, like, 10 years' time, hear AI songs and cry over them. It just doesn't do that. It doesn't hit that way. Even if you like the music that you're hearing from AI art, it'll be because it's in a certain style that you like that style, and it reminds you of something else. But it's never more than like a fleeting sense of being impressed. Because art at its core is human. It's looking at another person and thinking, man, how the fuck did you do that? It's magic. It's performative. It's smoke and mirrors. It's almost a spiritual thing. That's part of it. I used to get that all the time when I was younger, when I heard James Galway play the flute. I even still get that a little bit. I still listen to him play the flute and go, man, how the fuck do you do that? How do you get that sound? How do you get that phrase? And it's, even as I've studied the flute and done my 10,000 hours of fucking practice, and I've went to the higher levels of flute playing, and I've studied with top people, I still don't understand how the fuck he does it. I will never get into my head how he makes that sound. And I've heard the best flute players in the world are right beside me. Nobody can do it like Jimmy does, and I will never get it. And I also got that maybe in my early 20s when I was in Paris with the music, with anything Magali Mounier recorded. All her flute playing had this experience on me, this effect on me of like, how the fuck do you do that? And it really spoke to me. It was music I had listened to thousands of times. And even now when I hear Magali's flute playing, I'm like, oh, I melt. I don't know what it is, but it triggers so many things for me. But with AI, the thing is, you know how they did it. So it loses that magic. It's a machine. It gathered all the available art online quickly, recognized a couple of patterns, and created what you wanted it to create. That's how it was made. There is no magic. There is no smoke and mirrors. There is no performativeness to it. The mystique, it's all gone. And I don't know. Okay, I'm going to say this now. Okay, I don't know if I should say this, but for me, this is the proof that AI doesn't work as an art form. It doesn't speak to us as humans. I want to cover my own ass here before I say this and say, I don't do this, and I haven't done this, but I've read things and I've spoke to people and I know what the crack is, lads. Pornography, like AI porn, is everywhere at the minute. But your brain knows it's not real. And it will never really hit the spot. It'll never do what you want it to do. In much the same way that actually porn is for actual human intimacy. It never quite hits the spot, but this is a level deeper than that. It won't ever take over the porn industry, man. The porn industry will never go anywhere. It's the oldest industry in the world. It'll never go anywhere because people want the real thing. And that's when that's your caveman brain going, I know that's not real, so fuck it. I just can't do it. It just doesn't work. It doesn't click in the same way. And AI music is the same thing. It has the same fucking problem. The biggest AI music company in the world is one called Suno. You've probably seen it pop up on your socials at some point. Now, I want you guys to hear this, right? This is an interview with the CEO of Suno. This is real. Like, it's a video interview. I'm not making this up, by the way. I'm going to play this for you so you can hear it.
It's not really enjoyable to make music now.
Why do you say that?
It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice. You need to get really good at an instrument or really good at a piece of production software. I think the majority of people don't enjoy the majority of the time they spend making music.
Right. God, here we go. Now, before I actually go on here, there is going to be a bit of an elephant in the room that I want to address is if anyone out there listens to the Blind Boy podcast, there is a lot of similarities between this episode and his recent episode on AI. I'm not copying the episode. I'm very open that the Blind Boy podcast massively influences this podcast because it's the reason I got into podcasting. I am nothing but thankful for Blind Boy and I love everything he does. I try to take as much inspiration as I can from him because I think the way he does it is great and I kind of want to be him. But I'm a huge fan of it. So I should say, if you enjoy this podcast, you will love the Blind Boy podcast. Fucking go pick any random episode and get your ears around that. Just keep listening here, okay? Don't fuck off there, right? Stay with me. But anyway, so the CEO, he says it's not enjoyable to make music. It takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. Now, there's where you see very obviously, this is a man that has never created art in his life. This is some fucking tech bro getting involved in art. And those guys are fucking, honestly, you'd swear they're cyborgs. They have no human emotion about them whatsoever. Because any artist will tell you that process of making art, that's the best bit. That's the bit. That's the soul of it. It's like that fucking sign everyone's auntie has up on the wall. Happiness is a journey, not a destination. It's bang on, man. Your auntie's always right. The self-discovery through art is what counts. That's why we're artists. That's why we're not just consuming art. That's why we decide to create art. Because the product at the end of it, when you finish an artistic project, be it fucking recording an album or something even smaller as like interpreting a fucking sonata and working it out and getting ready to the performance or practicing for a performance or practicing for an audition, the minute it's actually done, like that bit at the end is the least enjoyable bit. It's boring. It doesn't have that. I mean, there's the adrenaline of it and there's the drinks and the celebrations afterwards. The day after, you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, for a long time, my biggest goal in Germany was to play once in the Cologne Philharmonie, the hall here. I've talked about this a lot in the podcast, how my career sort of took a back seat after COVID, and I didn't really want to play the flute anymore, and I came back to it gently. And that was my one single goal, which 10 years ago I would have laughed at, because it would have been much higher than that. But that was it. That was all I wanted to do. And I did everything possible to find out a way to do that. And it took me months and months and months and months. Then I got it. And I did it. And I made a whole thing of it. Like, I'm playing the Philharmonie. I'm playing first flute. You guys have to come watch. We'll go for pints afterwards. The next day I flew back to Ireland. Totally forgot about it. It was done. It was done. And it was actually, I was a bit lost when I'd done it. I was like, man, what the fuck do I do now? Where do you go? Like, I worked so hard for this thing and now it's just fucking, it's over. But that's because the fun was in the chase. It was going after it. Man, you see sports stars talk about this all the time. Like Tyson Fury, when he beat Vladimir Klitschko in Dusseldorf, when he won his first unified heavyweight championship of the world. Like, that was his whole goal of his life, was to win the heavyweight championship of the world. And he said the minute he got into the dressing room afterwards, he was instantly depressed. Because that's it. It's over now. You've done it. You've achieved it. Where the fuck do you go now? A lot of great sport, like Sir Alex Ferguson used to manage Manchester United. He always said the key to sustained success was every time he won a trophy, and you see this when he wins a trophy and they give him the microphone to talk to the fans, he's always like, and next year we're going to be even better. You can see the minute he's won that trophy, he's going, right, what's next? Because that's it. When you win it, it's boring. That's the least fun bit. The process is the best bit. And when I was doing that to play in the Philharmonie, that chasing after it and practicing and looking for ways to do it, that was fun. That was what gave my life meaning and purpose. And being an artist means I moved on. I did that. I've even done that with this podcast. You know, when it comes to AI with this podcast, for example, the solo episodes on this podcast, especially some of the more deep dive rabbit holes, they take a huge amount of research. The amount of writing involved in those things, you wouldn't fucking believe it. It takes hours of my week up. I never use AI in this podcast, not a fucking scrap of it. I don't use it for even fucking like thumbnails. I don't do anything. The only thing I use it for is AI clipping, where it just gets the nice section of the clips for me, but I tell it what I want in full HD. Because when I do it myself, I can't get it in full HD because my phone doesn't have the space. So I do it that way, and then I edit the, what do you call it, the fucking subtitles myself. But apart from that, there's no AI using this podcast. Nothing at all in the creation of it. I only really use AI in my life in general for translation when I want to get something in German quickly, which also is fucking stupid because since I've started doing that, I've lost my German. Because it used to be I had to use Google Translate, and then it wasn't always right, and it didn't know if it was the polite you or the impolite you and blah, blah, blah. So you had to go in and proofread it, and then you had to change the verbs accordingly and stuff like that. So I was still learning. This AI does it all for me, and I'm not learning German anymore. It's fucking killed my brain for it. But I did once prompt AI to give me ideas for an episode. So I think I got the idea for an episode, and I wanted like ideas of what to fill it with and where to take the podcast and blah, blah, blah. And at first you're amazed at it. I was like, man, it gave me all these things, fucking links to articles, backed up sources, ideas. And I was like, man, this would have took me hours to do. And you just give me it in 3 seconds. So I did write that episode. But the minute I finished writing it, I was like, man, this is boring. This is fucking boring. Because I didn't get to do my usual like rabbit hole. I didn't get to go sitting up at fucking 2 o'clock in the morning and digging deeper and deeper down. Because when I looked at it, I was like, oh, that's the boring bit. But it's not, man. That's the fun bit. Like that time I wrote that episode about Poulenc and cutting off the woman's tits in the opera and them floating away, and it was related to some kind of decapitation in a car in Hungary due to some fucking cheap French scarf he bought. It was class. And that's like going to like the fucking 7th page on Google results, finding some website that's from like 2001 and scrolling right down to the bottom to find this one sentence. You go, holy fuck, there's that bit of information, because we're in a niche market. AI can't even do it for us. But AI can't write an episode like that because it isn't curious. It isn't having fun. It isn't playing. These are human emotions. AI can't do that. And I missed that. I missed it so much from doing it. So recently when I watched that Blind Boy episode on artificial intelligence, he made a great analogy, which was AI is not going to kill art, but it does kill the donkey work of art. Now, again, for programming, for medical things, that's great. That's really essential. But for artists, we need the donkey work. We need to get our 10,000 hours in. Playing in the Philharmonie, studying in bars, this fucking podcast, all the donkey work is what got me to those levels. I don't want to skip that. They were class. Like if you told me I could skip at 18 to just be in the flute player I was the day after, sure, I wouldn't have got to live in Cardiff, Paris, Germany. I wouldn't have met the people I've met. I wouldn't have the experiences I've met. It wouldn't have meant anything. It would have been fucking boring. The playing well and doing things, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. That's the byproduct of the fun bit of art, which is creating. You know, and doing all that in Paris and doing all that in Cologne and making mistakes, that's where I cut my teeth. That's where I learned to be an artist. That's where I learned what works and what doesn't work, what's good for me and what isn't good for me. I'm doing a concert on Saturday and I'm playing some different pieces. I'm playing a lot of like traditional classical stuff in a chamber orchestra. So the arrangements, there's a lot of flute in it. And I'm seeing now, even William Tell's on the program. I spent years studying that solo so hard. Now that I've took years away from classical music and coming back to it, I'm not even practicing it. I just fucking play it. And I'll play it in a way that aligns with me as an artist, which is just having fun, because that's what I am about now when I play. I just want to have a bit of crack and play for fucking people. And who gives a fuck if it's a wrong note? And there isn't wrong notes if I don't panic about them. So that's my artistic voice and aligning. And that came as a result of all the things I did, that now when I play the flute in classical things, I finally feel at ease with myself playing. I'm like, that's the way I want to do this. That's the way this suits me. Finally, man, after all that time. So time spent creating anything at all is never wasted time. Don't ever try to skip it. Ever. You know, because Blind Boy, his analogy was artists are like saplings. They're little saplings that will grow into big, strong, fucking class artistic trees as you own your craft. Okay, but AI is essentially an invasive species. It's a weed that comes in, it blocks out the sun, and it doesn't let the saplings grow. So I want to end with two things. Fuck, I haven't done a Patreon read. I'm going to do that first. If you want to get my 2 takes at the end of this podcast, the best bits, you're going to have to get through this. So here, lads, if you're a regular listener, skip ahead. You know what the crack is. But if you're new around here, maybe you've been tuning in since last week's viral episode, thinking, who is this angry man on the internet? Then let me just explain a few things. The Inline G podcast is free. And it'll always be free. That is a motherfucking guarantee. But if you wish to donate and support the podcast, you can now do so through the Patreon. On the screen now is the address, and for the audio listeners, it is patreon.com/the Inline G Flute Podcast. Guys, it costs $5 a month, whatever that is in your currency. It's like €4.80 or something. You can also sign up for 1 month and unsubscribe immediately if you just want to give a one-off payment. Now, I do everything around here in this podcast on my own. Every aspect of this it's the definition of a small independent podcast. Every fucking bit of this, the amount of work it takes is unbelievable. Everything, audio production, video production, graphic design, writing emails, fucking script writing, meeting guests, editing, everything is done by old Inline G here. And I love it. It's the greatest fucking thing I've ever done in my life creatively. And it's given me such a community, and I love you guys for it. We don't get sponsors on here. There was times where I toyed with sponsors, but every time it was like, oh, but we're not going to do that episode. We're not going to cover that episode. We can't, if you're going to swear, we can't do it. Last week's episode would never have got sponsored. No Flute company would touch that. No company would touch that. They would never be near it. Next week's episode with Larry St. John, I get sued if I put a sponsor in that. They're not going to go near it. So at some point I realized, you know what? Fuck the sponsors. Because they're going to make me swear less. They're going to make me not talk about politics. And that's what you come to this podcast for. Is I can say whatever the fuck I want because it's my podcast. So you guys are sponsoring the podcast. So you sign up to that. It keeps this podcast alive. It means I get a small income from it, which allows me to dedicate the time to it. I can literally carve out time in my schedule for it that I'm paid. So I can turn down other work and say, no, I'm working on the podcast. And I'm getting paid money to do it. So you really are keeping it alive. Now, I have to say, if you sign up to the Patreon, you will not get extra stuff, really. You won't get extra episodes. You'll get a couple of wee things here and there. You won't get extra episodes. I do believe the podcast should be for everybody. So I don't like making secret episodes or episodes behind a paywall. I think that's a load of shit. So it's basically, if you can afford to sign up to the podcast, if you listen to a couple of episodes of this and you think, fuck, if I saw Gareth in the pub, I'd buy him a pint to say thank you for that little bit of entertainment in my week. And also, you get an episode every fucking Friday. For 142 weeks here, you've got an episode every single fucking Friday. That's a huge amount of work, lads. So if you think that, or you want to buy me a cup of coffee, do it digitally. And again, you can sign up for 1 month and then just fuck off immediately. So you're not going to get billed every month. You're going to get one €5 or $5 payment, and you're out. So if you can afford to do it, it's hugely appreciated. It really is. It keeps this podcast alive. And we are the biggest Flute podcast in the world that is 100% listener funded. Thank you very much. But if you can't afford it, times are hard. Don't worry. Someone else who can afford it is paying for you to listen for free. It's a system based on kindness and soundness. Now, 2 things I want to end with. Number 1, stop. Please, for the love of fuck, stop posting your shitty AI pictures on Instagram. It makes you look like a fucking idiot. Okay? Not because of my moral judgment on AI, but because of your inability, again, to empathize with your audience. For example, maybe a funny picture of you playing the flute and the conductor's been turned into a squirrel makes you laugh or impresses you for 5 seconds, but it is hollow, shallow art. It doesn't affect anyone else. I guarantee you, everyone that scrolls past that looks at it and goes, Or some people who are licking your arse will comment going, ha ha ha, lol. But nobody engages with this art. Nobody gives a fuck. When you share genuine art, just sharing it, it has the potential to affect other people. AI doesn't. It only works for you. So you're demonstrating how bad you are at going one more step of thinking. Again, getting off the train, a stop later, just a second thought, a second consecutive thought. Because, man, you would realize nobody fucking wants to see this. And you just look like an egotistical dickhead who doesn't think about your audience at all. I see people using these video creator things that make them dance, which takes like a still photo and then you end up doing a funny dance. They're fucking awful. Awful. I cannot scroll past those fucking videos quick enough. And I immediately, when I see that, think your fucking unga bunga brain cannot string together 2 consecutive thoughts to realize nobody wants to see this. The thought process to be, funny dancing video. Look at me, I'm dancing there. I'm going to post this. Hang on. Nobody's going to give a fuck about this, are they? Nah, I'll just leave that one for me. That's all you need to do. Just fucking follow that train. Do you know what would be class? Doing the dance. Go do the fucking dance. Film yourself doing a stupid dance and put it up the internet. That would at least give me a laugh about it. And it would give me a lot more respect for you. Even if you're shit at it. Fair play to you for dancing on the internet. Fucking class. Don't use AI for it. Fucking shite. So use AI for non-creative purposes for donkey work. Do not use it in your creative purposes or for art. Not because it's replacing art, because it makes you look like a fucking idiot. Now, secondly, start to enjoy thinking again. Enjoy the process of creation, of making art. You'll never have anything like it in your life, lads. I'm playing a gig this Saturday, as said. And so we're playing that pizzicato waltz, the Strauss thing. And me and the oboe start the wee tune together. But that first note, I was talking to the oboe and I was like, oh, can we drag this out a wee bit longer? So instead of going we go It's fucking class. AI could analyze what we're doing. It could maybe take like 10 takes of us doing it. It could analyze it and it could recreate it perfectly. And you could tell it wanted it a bit longer, a bit slower, and it would do it bang on. And it would sound pretty much exactly the same. I bet it is. But what it can't do is create the enjoyment I get out of it every fucking time. The crack I have. And it can't make audience members laugh by taking the actual fucking piss with it. Because that's what live art is. It's engaging with someone in the moment. It's human. You're watching another human do this. You feel connected to them because you're having fun with your audience, and it's that lovely moment. If you go watch a machine, it's shit. That's why we go to live art. It's so class. You all know it is. I guarantee you, if you went to an orchestra and instead of an orchestra sitting there, it was just a big fucking robot playing AI, you wouldn't care, you wouldn't give a fuck. You'd be impressed for a few minutes and you go, right, well, I know how this is done. There's no mystery. But when you watch two fucking grown men, like me and the Principal Lobo, two fully grown men sitting there going, you go, nah, AI can't do that. And that's fucking class. So enjoy a bit of thinking and enjoy the process, okay? Don't underestimate that. Now, anyway, lads, I've went on a lot here. We're now 30 minutes. We're going to go here. I didn't intend for this episode to go this far, but sure, here you fucking are. Now, I'll be back next week with Lara St. John. Also, at the time of recording this podcast, it is the afternoon of the Ireland match. Look, this is why I'm wearing the jersey, lads. First of two potential matches to qualify for the World Cup for the first time since 2002. It's a big day for Old Gareth here. So tonight we're playing Czechia. If we win that, next Tuesday we play Denmark. That is why I'm very happy I've got a podcast banked for next Friday. Because if we beat Denmark next Tuesday, you'll not hear from me for a couple of weeks. I'm going straight out to Mexico with the boys. So anyway, if you're listening to this on Friday morning, maybe go have a wee check up on old Inline G, see how he's doing, especially if Ireland won. If Ireland lost, wouldn't give a fuck. If Ireland won against Czechia, maybe have a wee check on me. And I'll tell you what, AI, it couldn't score a hat-trick against Hungary. That's fucking art. Anyway, lads, I'm away. Sláinte, Free Palestine. See you next week.
Hello.